Chapter 3. Umbrella Agriculture. Rain, I decided, was underrated. Yesterday, rain had been weather. Today, rain was market demand. I stood beneath the bus stop shelter with 20 umbrellas in my backpack and the expression of a man trying very hard not to look like he was waiting for strangers to suffer. The drizzle became a proper shower. People reacted immediately. A woman in a gray coat cursed under her breath and lifted her purse over her head. A college student hugged his laptop bag to his chest like it contained his kidneys. A man in shirt sleeves stared at the sky with betrayal in his eyes. My fingers twitched. Not yet, I thought. Then a gust of wind blew rain sideways under the shelter, and 3 people made the same miserable sound at once. Perfect. I reached into my backpack and pulled out the first umbrella. "Excuse me," I said to the woman in the gray coat. "Do you need one?" She looked at the umbrella, then at me, then back at the umbrella. "Are you selling it?" "No," I said. That was technically true. I was not selling it. I was harvesting her. She hesitated. "Seriously?" "Yeah. I've got extra." Her face softened with immediate relief. "Oh my God. Thank you." Chime. Positive feeling detected. Goodwill acquired. 400 points. 400. For an umbrella that cost 5. I felt my soul do a cartwheel and land in a tax haven. "No problem," I said, my voice cracking slightly. The college student looked over. I looked at him. He looked at my backpack. I opened it just enough for him to see the handles. His eyes widened. "Do you have another one?" I had never loved a question more. "Yeah," I said. "Here." He accepted the umbrella with both hands. "Dude, thank you. My laptop would have been toast." Chime. Goodwill acquired. 500 points. 500. Laptop protection paid better than human dignity. Noted. The man in shirt sleeves stepped closer with the careful expression of someone trying not to beg. I handed him one before he asked. His shoulders dropped in relief. "You're a lifesaver." Chime. Goodwill acquired. 600 points. Lifesaver. That word had value. I nearly whispered it back at him just to taste the profit. Within 3 minutes, I had given away 7 umbrellas and earned more GP than I had earned in my entire first day of employment if I valued my salary honestly, which I avoided doing for mental health reasons. People smiled. People thanked me. People looked at me like I was the last decent man in the city. This was dangerous because I knew the truth. The last decent man in the city probably did not have 13 more umbrellas and the emotional posture of a raccoon guarding a casino buffet. The bus arrived. Half the shelter emptied. I did not get on. That was when I knew something inside me had changed. Yesterday's Claude would have sold his left sock to go home faster. Today's Claude watched the bus leave and thought, "No, the field is still wet." The next wave of people arrived. Rain thickened. I gave out more umbrellas. Chime. Goodwill acquired. 300 points. Chime. Goodwill acquired. 700 points. Chime. Goodwill acquired. 400 points. Chime. Goodwill acquired. 500 points. The numbers stacked in the corner of my vision like applause made of money. At some point, I ran out. A normal man would have stopped. Unfortunately, I had access to supernatural retail. I turned slightly away from the crowd, opened the shop, and bought 50 more umbrellas. Total cost, 250 GP. The system placed them in my backpack. All at once, my knees buckled. The backpack slammed down with the weight of immediate consequences, and I made a noise that was not masculine in any culture. A teenager nearby stared at me. "You okay, man?" "Fine," I wheezed. The backpack had become a portable umbrella cemetery. I dragged it behind the bus stop bench, pulled out another umbrella, and resumed farming. "Umbrella?" I asked a woman with 2 grocery bags. She blinked. "What? Umbrella? Free? Why?" A terrible question. "Because human happiness is now a convertible asset, ma'am, and you are standing in my crop zone." Instead, I said, "I bought too many," which was also true in a spiritual sense. She laughed. Then she took one. "Thank you. That's really sweet." Chime. Goodwill acquired. 500 points. Sweet. Sweet paid well. I started smiling naturally. That worried me. Not enough to stop. After the first 20 people, I developed a rhythm. Identify exposed commuter. Approach without looking like a criminal. Offer umbrella. Receive gratitude. Collect GP. Repeat. By person 30, I had begun saying things like, "Stay dry," because it sounded warm and increased smile probability. By person 40, I started arranging the umbrellas by color to match people's outfits. A woman in a red scarf got a red umbrella and gasped, "Oh, this is perfect." Chime. Goodwill acquired. 800 points. Color coordination mattered. This was science now. By person 53, I had purchased more stock twice and was sweating despite the cold. By person 68, a bus driver leaned out and shouted, "You handing those out?" "For free," I shouted back. He laughed. "You're a good guy." Chime. Goodwill acquired. 300 points. Indirect appreciation from a bus driver. Excellent. By person 79, a man asked if I was recording for social media. "No," I said. He looked suspicious. I looked innocent. Neither of us believed me. By person 86, someone took a photo. I considered objecting. Then 3 nearby people noticed the photo, understood I was giving out umbrellas, and approached me. I did not object. By person 94, my arms hurt. My back hurt. My smile had become a fixed customer service injury. My shoes were soaked. My hair was plastered to my forehead. I was having the best day of my life. That was when a little girl in a yellow raincoat tugged on her father's sleeve and pointed at me. "Daddy, is he the umbrella man?" The father smiled awkwardly. "Looks like it." "Umbrella man." "Absolutely not." Unfortunately, the little girl beamed at me. Chime. Positive feeling detected. Goodwill acquired. 200 points. I swallowed. Fine. I could be the umbrella man. Temporarily. For tax purposes. At person 100, the system chimed differently. Louder. Cleaner. The blue window expanded in front of me. Achievement unlocked. Local Good Samaritan I. Condition met. Help 100 people in a single day. Reward, 5,000 GP. I stopped moving. Rain ran down my face. People shifted around me. Someone asked, "Do you still have umbrellas?" I ignored them. Achievement. It had achievements. And the achievement gave points. Not small points. 5,000. 5,000 bonus points for doing the thing I was already doing. My mouth went dry. Then another notification appeared. Achievement path opened. Local Good Samaritan next level. Local Good Samaritan 2. Condition. Help 500 people in a single day. Reward, 25,000 GP. 500. In one day? Yesterday, that would have sounded impossible. Today, standing in the rain with supernatural inventory in a backpack full of discounted umbrellas, it sounded like a scheduling problem. My breathing changed. I was no longer thinking like an employee. I was thinking like a farmer. A farmer did not curse the size of the field. A farmer bought more seed. "Sir," someone asked. I turned. A middle-aged woman stood there, wet hair clinging to her cheeks. "Do you have any left?" I smiled. "Yes," I said. "I absolutely do. I bought another 100 umbrellas." This was, in hindsight, where a wiser man would have paused. I was not a wiser man. I was Claude Simmons, newly single, emotionally underdeveloped, and currently being paid like a corrupt saint in a weather emergency. The backpack became so heavy I had to sit on the bench and distribute umbrellas from a seated position like a soggy king granting favors. People laughed. That helped too. Apparently, being ridiculous did not reduce yield. If anything, it made the gratitude warmer. "Why do you have so many?" a young man asked while accepting a black umbrella. "Personal growth," I said. He laughed hard enough to bend over. Chime. Goodwill acquired. 400 points. Comedy counted. My God. Comedy counted. By the time the rain weakened, I had not reached 500 people. Not even close. But I had helped 143 people, earned the achievement, and crossed a number that made the system window flash gold. Milestone reached. 10,000 total GP earned. My heart stopped. The window shifted. System upgrade available. Choose one. 1. Reward conversion upgrade. Positive feedback converts into 200% more Goodwill points. 2. Tier 0 stock expansion. The Tier 0 shop gains expanded ordinary inventory. 3. Host basic attribute upgrade. Improve one basic host attribute. I sat on the wet bench, staring. 3 choices. 3 beautiful, terrible choices. Reward conversion meant more points forever. Expanded stock meant more tools, more schemes, more situations to exploit. Maybe bulk goods. Maybe appliances. Maybe medical supplies. Maybe things that could make me look prepared on an industrial scale. Host attributes meant I could improve myself directly. Stamina, maybe. Focus. Appearance. Memory. The kind of things Megan had probably wished I would improve without supernatural intervention. For one brief, shining second, I considered choosing a personal attribute. Wouldn't that be mature? Wouldn't that be growth? Wouldn't that prove I was not simply a greedy little goblin in business casual? Then I looked at option 1 again. Positive feedback converts into 200% more Goodwill points. 200% more. Forever. My greed stood up inside me wearing a crown. Yeah, I whispered. No contest. Confirm reward conversion upgrade. Yes. Upgrade selected. Reward conversion rate increased by 200%. Future Goodwill acquisition increased. The window faded back to my normal balance. I stared at it for a long time. Then a woman nearby sneezed. Before I knew what I was doing, I turned toward her with tissues already in hand. Need one? She blinked, then smiled gratefully. Thank you. Chime. Positive feeling detected. Goodwill acquired. 600 points. 600. For a tissue. I stared at the tissue pack, then at the sky, then at the people moving through the wet city around me, each one carrying a problem, a discomfort, a bad day, a tiny need waiting for someone to notice. I should have been scared. Maybe part of me was. But another part, the part that had been asleep through promotions, birthdays, deadlines, bills, and Megan's fading patience, was wide awake now. The world was full of people who wanted to feel better. I could do that. For them. For me. Mostly for me. I stood up, soaked from head to toe, backpack hanging from one shoulder, pockets stuffed with tissues, granola bars, chargers, and the beginning of a very bad philosophy. Yesterday, I had been absent. Today, I was present. Aggressively present. Commercially present. Present with inventory. I looked down Madison Street, where the rain had left the sidewalks shining and miserable commuters hurried toward home. A slow smile spread across my face. This was not a miracle anymore. This was a business model. And apparently, I was open for business.